Mom. Dad. Juliet. Nui.
Hello, and we are back.
With PanCake Friday.
Okay, so I love our intro. It's super cute, and I'm not saying I don't want to do it, but I do miss actually getting to sing the intro every time. It kind of like got us in the mood.
That's so very true. Maybe we should just keep Juliet up until we're ready to pod every night and like child labor the fuck out of her.
Yeah, because right now she's technically a toddler, so we can make her work, and it's not going to cost us a penny.
Yeah, especially if it's for us.
Okay, so I was thinking it would be fun to do an episode with Juliet, but I also was thinking the way we should do it is it'd be fun to like record her and have her on, but like pre-record it and have it embanked in the episode, because I don't really want to like have a thing like where it's like, oh, Juliet's on the podcast today as like the episode. Yeah. Like I'd rather it's in the episode, but it's hidden away, if that makes sense. So you're not like, oh, Juliet's on the pod today. It's just
we
there.
Could do like a little interview segment with her, like a pre-recorded one, then put it in. Also, I think when she gets a little bit older, it would actually be really funny to have her on the pod. But at the moment, her conversation isn't the best. Like it's more like, hey, Juliet, how's it going? And she just goes, bugs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, probably not ready for a podcast
full on
just
babbling,
yet.
hey, like she talks nonstop.
Oh,
now,
dude,
just not words.
Yeah, well,
not sentences.
Yeah, she has like a ton of words, and she can like interact and get the gist of what you're saying, but in terms of conversation, yeah, she's not the most like interesting person in the world.
I wonder when. Oh, I disagree with you. I wonder what age our child becomes smarter than an illiterate person. Is it just because like for example, like I guess the easy answer would be when she learns to read, right?
Yeah.
But like I'm just wondering, if you, let's say you don't know how to read, right? Like by the time Juliet's, even before she knows how to read, she'll probably be like comprehending like a lot of things that person would never, or I don't know. I guess you can live a pretty big life without having.
Yeah,
how to read,
I think it depends on how you're judging it. If you're judging it based off like intelligence, or whether you're judging it based off kind of you're illiterate, but like as in you can't read, but you're still like, I don't know, in your 60s and had a ton of life experience.
So I should have prefaced this. I'm like picturing some hillbilly from the southern part of Florida and like the backwaters, and they're like,
probably 6 generations of inbred.
Yeah, that's what I guess. That's an extreme. When you say can't read, most people don't go there, hey? Or is that where people go?
Well, if you say illiterate.
Yeah.
I immediately went to can't read.
No. I mean, like when I say an illiterate person, what pops into your head?
Oh, hillbillies
from Florida, basically.
Yeah. Florida,
see,
Bible
that's what
Belt.
I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know the Bible Belt, because if you're in the Bible Belt, I feel like you have to know how to read because you like the Bible. Whereas when you're in Florida.
Yeah, I don't think it's, that's what I was going to say. I don't think it's the Bible Belt. I think it's like the Southeast in particular.
There's marshy lands.
Yeah. Kind of like swampy vibes.
Yeah, swampy vibes.
Like swampy vibes, backcountry hillbillies, like going out trying to shoot gators, and that's what I'm picturing right now.
Yeah. I see. That's kind of where I was going, and that's why I kind of said what I'm picturing. So, okay. Like Juliet could be like 3 years old, and then you meet someone from like the Everglades, and you're like, oh, Juliet, like you can trust her more to like do things.
Do your taxes.
Hey Neve, how are you?
I'm fabulous. Week 2 in a row of PCF.
Dap, dap, dap.
What up?
So I guess, do you have like, well, we'll go through the week, but do you have anything like dire you want to talk about? Because I feel like I should start off with the tragedy of the weekend.
Yeah, you probably should start off with a tragedy of the weekend.
Okay, so it's daddy-daughter day because Neve's going out with friends, and Uncle Connor's going to come over, and we're all going to watch hockey, and it's going to be a fun time. And we were having a fun time. She was playing with Nui, and it was the first time that like they were just playing tug, and she was running around screaming, having the best time with her Canucks jersey on, and she was just being real cute for Uncle Connor. And then she gets up on the couch and she starts like being on the couch, and I'm like, Juliet, look. And I put like the like pillow down for her to jump on. And normally when she does it, she just like leans forward and falls off. But she's not that little baby anymore. She can jump, and she jumped like right over the cushion and smashed her forehead on the table corner, and it got a huge split in it.
Yeah.
Like, debatable, should have gone and got stitches, but I don't think it should have.
I think the max they would have done is 1 stitch.
Yeah.
Like, it's so small.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's deep. It's a gash.
Yeah,
sure.
but it basically, like, the only good news is it's the same line that like wrinkles run, or like when you furrow your brow, so it'll just disappear.
Yeah.
But I just felt terrible. I was so sad.
Yeah, you were
so sad.
You were sad.
Because like it was, I obviously didn't mean to, and I thought that it's not like I didn't notice the table. I just thought it was farther away than it was.
Yeah, and she's also growing very fast.
And I felt so sad, and like I literally grabbed her right away. I was like, it's okay. I ran, and you could just see blood because it's your forehead. It's just leaking, right?
Yeah.
So I ran right away into the bathroom with her, and Connor followed me in. And Connor's always so good in like emergency situations.
Yeah, he is. He is. I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
So can you?
Yeah, and so he was with me, and I just basically ran in there, started getting toilet paper. We were right by, like, the reason I ran to the bathroom was because that's where all the like med stuff is.
Yeah.
And so I was using toilet paper. Then Connor found a, what is it called? Gauze.
Gauze.
And
yeah, we had gauze.
So I held that on her forehead, and then Connor was looking through for all this like butterflies, and there was none. So he thankfully drove to the store and got sterile strips and Band-Aids.
Yeah.
And polysporin. And then by the time you'd got back, it had just stopped bleeding altogether.
Yeah.
And it was a split. You saw the video. It was like a little split, and it's not bad, but like any cut on your baby that is bad, right? Yeah. And so anyhow, we patched it up, and she's okay. She's in good
she's
spirits.
absolutely fine.
Yeah, but it was just really sad.
Yeah.
It was just
I
really,
mean,
really sad.
It's sad, but it's one of those things that happen. Like, everyone that I've told about that has been like, oh yeah, when I was like 2, I got this, and it's just something that happens with kids, especially when they're that young. Zero sense of danger. Like, our daughter has zero sense of danger, like hurting herself.
Yeah, and the problem too is she's 25 pounds, I think.
A little more than that now.
I don't know. I put her on the scale a few days ago, and she was like basically 25 pounds.
Yeah, I think she was 27 when I last went to take her to the doctors at 18 months.
Okay, well, I know, like I literally did a few days ago. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. You figured a lot of that is head. So like,
their heads are so disproportionate.
If you drop them, their head's just naturally gonna go to the floor.
Yeah. But that's so funny. Actually, think about it. Like, your head must grow at such a like lesser rate than the rest of your body, because that's why babies like can't lift their heads up when they're first born, right? Because their heads are so like disproportionate to the rest of them.
That's crazy. Hey?
And they can't touch their hands over their head.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
but you're right.
like think about how easy it is for us. Like, my elbows are at the top of my head right now, right?
I'm not trying to flex, but I can.
Babies can't do that. They're like this. You can't see me right now, but it's like a T-Rex trying to reach over its head. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyhow, that was very, very, I don't know. It's just a weird feeling.
It was Juliet's first trauma.
Because, like, yeah, but it was a weird feeling because, like, I had no problem dealing with the actual, like, injury.
Yeah.
It was just a little cut. Like, you know me, in blood and cut. Like, I think I did as good a job as you can sealing it. And,
100% you did. Yeah, you did really good.
It. But it just leaves a bad, like, feeling that happened to your kid.
Well, I think it's just, yeah, exactly. It's just your kid hurting. Like, it's a now, different, like, type of feeling.
I just question how many little kids I'm gonna have to just, like, beat up because they wrong my daughter. And I'm not even saying hurt her, just, like, they wrong her. Like, they're like, Juliet, you take the blue crayon. She's like, no, I want the red. I'm like, boom, give her the red crayon.
But also, I think we have to remember that our daughter is also, like, a rough and tough girl. Like, she came home last week with a bite mark on her shoulder. Yeah, that's the best. Like, you said she cried for, like, maybe 2 minutes.
I think she definitely cried at first because, like, she nailed her head. She dived head first off the couch into the corner.
Yeah.
Or the edge. But I think she was more freaked out once it was happening because I was like, Connor, can you find this stuff? Okay, don't worry, Julia. Like, I was like not freaking out, but my energy was like high, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we tell the story about the bite last time, or was that Friday?
I think we did. We did tell it. Yeah,
that was awesome. I mean, that's terrible. Awesome. That's terrible, Julia. You shouldn't.
And she also got told off at daycare for wrestling other kids. So
yeah, that's one thing I always wonder is. You just, all I hope is Juliet's not the bully one day.
No, I did have to tell her when we were at so we went to a birthday barbecue on Sunday, and I had to tell her a couple times not to push.
Really?
She was pushing Kylie. To be fair, so our friend Jen and Adam, they have a little baby that's I think 6 months younger than Juliet, but she's very advanced.
She's taller than Juliet.
She's like, well, she's probably taller, the same size as Juliet. Like, she's walking, she's climbing, she's doing everything Juliet's doing. So she is like
yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. Kylie is like way up there.
But it makes sense having your sister that's Kira, like, running and jumping around, because Juliet definitely picked up on all of her classmates from daycare.
100%.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But there was times when, like, they were on Jack's little, like, cornhole set. This, for some reason, the kids thought it was the most entertaining thing to, like, climb on this cornhole set. Yeah. And Juliet was like sitting on it, and then Kylie went to, like, climb on it, and she, like, pushed her. So I was like, Juliet, we don't push people. And then she did it again. I'm like, Juliet, don't push me. But then she only did it those 2 times and didn't do it again.
Okay, so it's so funny. So we go to this barbecue. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to talk about the barbecue. Might as well, since
that was super fun, and it was really nice.
So we were invited to our friend Adam. It was Jen and Adam, but Adam's birthday and Elliot's birthday as well.
Oh, I didn't know it was Elliot's birthday as well.
And it was kid friendly, and it was cool because they brought, like, I have a feeling all the people that were parents that were there were all friends because of parenting. Like, that through their kids, I think they kind of met.
Well, I mean, it was us, Jen and Adam, and then that one other couple.
I thought there was 2 couples with kids.
No.
Huh.
Because if you think about it, it was just Juliet, Kira, Kylie, and the little boy, Ben.
No, there was the English couple. They had a kid. He was just like 8 or 9.
Yeah, Ben.
Okay, no, and then there was another guy there with his little kid. They was like in a stroller. It was like a wee little baby.
Oh yeah, they had a tiny baby. Yeah.
Anyhow, it was a fun just to be out of the park and barbecuing. And I must say, as much as I like to do burgers and more elaborate things, it is just nice to do sausages.
Yeah. Sausages.
It's just easy, quick.
Yeah.
Bing bang.
Fry up some dogs.
But okay, so we were at Ray Peralt Park, so top of Boulevard for people, and there's like below the soccer field where the actual playground is. First off, that playground's insane.
That was an awesome playground.
It's
yeah,
like
it was so good.
super modern and new.
Yeah, it has this whole like sandbox digger thing. It's super cool.
We should go there more. I was like, why haven't we come to this park specifically? But also there's like this undercover area that's like just for public and you can like sit there and like basically set up parties and stuff, but it's just an open public space. And there was another little kids party there, and I don't know if they had to have been similar age to Juliet. Maybe
I think it was the first birthday.
Yeah, it was like one or two.
Second, yeah.
And they were playing nonstop, just like Wheels on the Bus and stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so brutal. Like,
yeah. I mean, to be fair, we listened to Wheels on the Bus on repeat on the way home from daycare.
Oh, I know.
It takes 4.5 wheels on the buses for us to get home.
Whenever I'm alone with Juliet, she'll always just go bus out of nowhere. That's what's the worst, is out of nowhere bus. You're like, oh.
Really now?
But it's just so funny that like, it's one thing to do with your kid alone in their house or driving, but like it's their birthday and you're a public park blasting Wheels on the Bus. It's like, this is my
to be fair,
hell.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, because you're so like tranced out from it, you can't hear it anymore.
Just goes in one ear, out the other at this point. In my sleep, I'm actually like, Wheels on the Bus.
And I like kick you like, Neve, stop, please, no.
No more.
And then
it's
you're
like torture.
The driver says, move on back, move on back. I think that is a very controversial line in the song, because depending on who you're saying it to, it's a very different, it just seems like it could be almost like a racial slur.
Yeah, very different connotations depending on the age and the skin color of the person you're singing it to.
Yeah, like you see some old granny and she's like, oh, move on back, old lady. Move on back. That's more what it's like. It's not like
get back there.
Like when you hear when the buses needed the people to move back, the bus driver's just like, "Hey, everybody, move on back." He's like, "Everyone, move back. Get to the back of the goddamn bus. I'm miserable."
It's like how the bus drivers get their little power trip going.
Yeah, that's all they have power over is the little mic to say "move on back," and then if no one does, they're just like, "God damn it." I have clients that are bus drivers, and they all love being bus drivers, but none of them will ever tell you that, like, because they've done it for like 25, 30 years. So you're like, okay, you clearly at the very least are like, you're doing this for your life, right?
Yeah.
But the whole time they just complain about like how shitty bus driver life is, like all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine just sitting there driving in same routes every day. Just wouldn't be good. And then people just having like homeless people and like kids walk on and be like,
doing shit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like especially in North Van, the public transit system is so bad.
It is.
Because there's so many parts of North Van that are like not inaccessible, but like unless you have a car, you can't walk anywhere because it's just so steep, right? It's a mountain. And I remember I used to live on Regent in East Braemar, and I used to get the bus from East Braemar down onto Lonsdale, which in theory should be fine if the bus like came on time every time. But sometimes it would come early and I'd be like I'm like hiking up this fucking mountain to get to this bus stop, right?
Yeah.
And I just see the bus like just go past my stop and I'm like, well, fuck. And then there isn't another bus for an hour. So I would then have to turn around to go back down the mountain, go to 29th and hope to catch one at 29th. It was such a pain in the ass.
Especially as you get up higher. Like, the worst is Caulfield, West Van, like up British Properties. There is a bus or two up there, but they're just like useless.
I mean, who in the British Properties really is using the bus?
Well, no, it's for the Pories to get them out of there.
Oh, right, of course.
Because every once in a while, a Pori, they wander up there and they're like, well, I thought this was the turn off to McDonald's. How did I get into the richest part of Vancouver?
The British Properties.
Yeah, I don't know. Public transit, sucks. You need public transit. Like, I get why it's there. Yeah. I'm not saying like we shouldn't have public transit, or am I? We want to fix the Canadian economy. We got to get rid of all the public transit. If you don't own a car,
sick idea, nerd. Yeah. Good one.
And how are we gonna do it? We're just gonna burn everything that's public transit. No, but it always just brings out the wildest people somehow.
That's so true.
It just does.
Yeah, especially trains.
Yeah.
Like you think about it, you think about the New York subway, you think about the London Underground, you think about the SkyTrain, all the fucking crazies are there. Like, all the crazies from the city are going to be on that train.
It makes so much sense, though, because it's the way to get around, like, the metropolitan areas. Yeah. I mean, is the London Underground just, like, when I was on it, it just seemed really compact. Like, there wasn't really much, like...
Do you know what's nice about England? Is nobody wants to talk to anybody.
Right.
Like... especially in London, like, you just fucking sit there, mind your fucking business, and like don't look anyone in the eye.
I for sure would get stabbed there alone, and it wouldn't be by some like, that fucking mug. It'd be like, that little old granny just wanted to be left alone, and this guy said hi, so she stabbed him.
That'd 100% be it, yeah.
It'd be like, oh, what? They'd be like, oh, Derek got stabbed by some gang. No. He was at, what's it called? The shrimp place. What's the shrimp place we went to called?
Bubba Gumps.
He was at Bubba Gumps, and he asked the server how his day was, so he stabbed him.
That's still one of my like favorite, like, just funniest memories, and it and you know what it reminds me of? Ted Lasso. And this is why, because like, you're in my eyes, you, for me, are like the epitome of Canadian.
Nice.
In that you can, like, you're so friendly and you're so conversational and you can talk to anyone about anything and just somehow make it work. And I don't know how you do it. But what's really hilarious is then bringing you back to England, not just England, because there are nice people in England and friendly people in England, but nice London people. Especially. London is like a don't fuck with me city. And I say that in the meaning of like, it's hustle bustle, everyone's super busy, everyone's trying to get somewhere. And even like in the service industry, like in England people don't tip, right? So servers are like doing the bare minimum to like fucking
Clearly.
Get you your food, blah blah blah, all of this stuff. And we're in Bubba Gump Shrimp in Piccadilly. No, it wasn't Piccadilly. Where was it? Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
Trafalgar Square before going to Book of Mormon. We're at Bubba Gump Shrimp. And the server comes to take our order. And we like order our food. And then he starts to walk away and Derek goes, I'm from Canada. And he like turns back and is like, have you got something to say to me? And then there's just like this awkward pause.
That's kind of how it happened. No. It was like this. He took your order.
Yeah.
And then he took my order for drinks. And then I was like, yeah, like right away started talking to him. And he just looked at me and he was like, do you need anything? And after I'd been like, oh yeah, it's so crazy, this and this. And he just went, do you need anything? I went, no. And then he just walked away. And I was just like... You're like, no tip. Okay, and then he was like, there is no tip.
There is no tips anyway.
Well, no, okay. But it was so funny because when we were in, I'm trying to remember, I want to say it was Brighton. No, not Brighton. Bristol.
Yeah.
When we were in Bristol, we went into one of like the town centers there, right? Yeah, it was the shopping center.
Cabot Circus.
Yeah, and so can you just bring it all over here? Yeah, that'll just make more sense. And we are back. Sorry about that, everyone. We had to get a lot of wine.
And also pee.
And a lot of wine. Okay, so we were in, what was it called again? In gosh, I can't remember the name. It was.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Continuing the story about when we were in England and we were in Bristol. So we're in Bristol, at the mall.
Oh, it was at Cabot Circus.
And I can't remember why, but you and me had split up. I was going to just like look for something like that, or you were like trying on something, and I was just going to wander.
Yeah.
And so I start wandering around a bit, and there's these 3 mall cops. I can't remember what I was doing, but they like approached me. I wasn't doing like something weird, but I think it looked like
you looked like you were lost.
I was stealing stuff. Sir, are you stealing? Hi, I'm from Canada. We don't have laws like that here. No, and I just started talking to them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like, so what do you think of England?" And I was like, yeah, like, I don't know. It's been a really good experience, except I got to say the people in London aren't very friendly. And one of the dudes was from London. Yeah. And he was like, oh, what? No way, mate. Like, London has the nicest people. And then the other 2 dudes were laughing so hard because they weren't. Both of them, I want to say for sure one was from Bristol. Yeah. And the other one was somewhere like way out of London. Yeah. And they were just laughing so hard. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying everyone was mean, but definitely people just didn't have any interest in talking. Yeah.
I think there are some parts of London where people are super friendly, but in central London, it's just like, it's not the place to meet people, right? Everyone's just like getting to somewhere else.
I mean, I feel like it's like being in downtown Vancouver. Everyone's always just like going to and from work or to stuff. It's not like, it's like the hub area, right?
Yeah.
I know it's different.
Downtown Vancouver is very different.
But I mean, in sense of it's like everyone's like working and doing stuff. Yeah. It's not like they're like, yo, we're just hanging out, having a good time.
They're there for a reason. They're not just like hanging around. Yeah.
That was Trafalgar.
Trafalgar.
I thought it's Trafalgar.
No, it's Trafalgar.
Trafalgar?
Trafalgar Square.
Where's that from? Like, what is that?
I don't know, Derek.
Like, is it like, it just doesn't seem like an English word.
Trafalgar?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Trafalgar Square.
Huh. Seems like you like stole it from like Spain or something. Like, this is our word now.
I mean, a ton of people invaded England, so we weren't the first invaders. Yeah, you did it first.
Yeah, you just learned how to perfect it. Yeah. Okay, so I do have a bold statement of the week to make this week, but I don't want to make it yet. Okay. But it's a bold ass statement to make. And okay, let me see what I've got written down here. Okay, this is a crazy one. Mm-hmm. So, as a woman, do you think you have more testosterone or estrogen in your body?
Estrogen.
Incorrect. You have more testosterone than you do estrogen. But you have...
Where are you getting these facts?
But this is the thing, is like your testosterone level to mine is very low. Mm-hmm. My estrogen level to yours is very low, but you still have more testosterone that in you, like, than you do estrogen. Just naturally. Like, that's the difference between a man and a woman, where it's funny because you just kind of assume it's like, oh, like men have a ton of testosterone and women have a ton of estrogen, like this like scale of back and forth. Yeah. But that's not how it works. It's women have testosterone in them. It's just like trace amounts or I shouldn't even say trace amounts. It's just not nearly as what men's is. Yeah. But you still also have estrogen, or like men also have estrogen. It's just very low levels. Whereas women, they do have like higher levels of estrogen, but it's still not to the same level as their testosterone levels, which I thought was really interesting. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I just wonder where that came from, like fact wise.
Yeah. I mean, here, let's look it up.
Hey,
Malik, can you look it up? Yeah, I'll look it up. 1 sec. Oh no, I don't have Siri. Can you look it up?
You realize your phone's off.
I mean, Malik, can you look it up?
Yeah. Like, how do I even look that up? Women, testosterone
versus estrogen
levels versus estrogen. And women, estrogen and testosterone, both sex hormones play distinct, blah, 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 blah. Well, estrogen is primarily yeah. We know what they are. Balance between these hormones is crucial. Normal testosterone and estrogen levels in women. Okay. Estrogen, low estrogen, estrogen, anorexia. Why is it talking about anorexia on the estrogen levels? Why is this so hard to find?
Look up what a normal woman's testosterone level should be. It should be something in mgs, I'd assume. Not even, no, it can't even be milligrams.
So normal estrogen levels in women range from 30 to 400 pg per mil.
Yes.
Okay. Now where's testosterone? Normal testosterone levels in women range from 15 to 70 ng per dl.
We have to convert that now. Thanks, Malik.
Women should produce as much testosterone as estrogen. Oh wait, Reddit's got the answers. And I had less estrogen. Women actually produce more estrogen. Oh, in perimenopause. This is talking about menopause.
There you have it.
Yeah, I don't know where you're getting these facts from, but on a quick Google search, I can't prove you're right or wrong.
Okay, well, Malik will get on that. He'll look it up and we'll get back to you on that one. To the second part of this interesting thing, okay? And I learned this from, it was a guy I was listening to on a podcast who's a super smart physicist, dude. So that's where I heard it from. And yeah, I know you're like, he's a physicist, but if you listen to him talk, you'd be like, clearly this guy knows a fuckload about everything. Okay.
Sure.
Anyhow, then the other one that was really interesting was, did you know single mothers produce more testosterone than women that are in cohabitating, like with a partner?
I mean, that doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not at all. It makes total sense, but I just thought it was interesting that happens.
Yeah, I mean, the human body is just like fucking crazy.
It's wild, yeah.
I think we discussed this when I was breastfeeding, but basically when you're breastfeeding, if you are, for example, in the grocery store and you come into contact with a sick person, your fucking nipple spidey senses can tell that you've been in contact with a sick person and start producing antibodies in your booby milk instantaneously. Instantaneously. And also the saliva in your babies, that's why they recommend, like, even if you're struggling, like your baby's struggling to breastfeed, if you just like put their mouth to your titty and then pump the stuff out, your breast milk is still gonna have the antibodies they need because they got that from the baby's saliva. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like some fucking Black Mirror shit, but it's just human design. It's wild.
It's like, I forget what it is, but it's like something about how like the universe always just consistently just increases in complexity. It just seems so wild that that's just like a thing. Even like it's so wild.
Yeah,
like, it's just, I don't know,
like your body knows exactly what nutrients your baby needs and prioritizes that when producing this breast milk, which, like, what even is fucking breast milk, for one? Like,
colostrum's like the mega steroids.
Yeah, you can sell it for like $1 online if you want to.
Yeah.
Like, not that I looked into that, but you can.
It was 30 milligrams was $1,000.
Can you imagine we just like save for a down deposit on a house, and the reason we've done it is just through like selling booby milk online?
I mean, isn't that the dream?
What a life.
Isn't that the dream? Okay, so yeah, that was crazy. And then I can't remember exactly how to explain this now, but it was about I'm just debating whether I should say this or save it and research it. It was about Elon Musk's Neuralink and the dude that had ALS, and they gave him the chip, and like where he's at now is like, it's wild. Like he like, first off, he can fully speak with his son now in his full voice, because they've used AI in his brain to like he can talk now, but he couldn't before, and it's all through his brain through this chip, and it's with his voice from when he could talk still, so he's able to talk with his son. And like, I'm gonna go back and look this up again, but he basically, what they did with the chip, and this all has to do with AI, not the chip, because the chip is what's able to make him like use his brain to connect to like the computer and do all these things, right? But the AI, since they've integrated that into it, he now like thinks about using his right hand, and the AI's like connected that part of his brain that goes to his hand into its thinking. So now whenever he's using the mouse, before when he started, it was like really labored and hard and tiresome. And now all he has to do to use the mouse on the screen is just think like he's using his hand. That doesn't work, but it works like as if he was using a mouse and a keyboard. And it's all in his brain through this Neuralink. And the thing that makes it so even crazier than already what it is between the AI, they decided at Neuralink to be like, let's let him figure out how to use it as opposed to teaching him how to use it. And that's how the brain and the AI like naturally made it so that he could use this thing in his brain, as he thinks that he's using his arm.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying, and I get that maybe this could be something that's like super revolutionary to a lot of people and can help a lot of people. But as soon as you put a fucking AI chip into your brain, like, how do you know if it's the actual person controlling it, or if it's the AI doing whatever it wants but getting you to think that the person's controlling it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't trust that. Okay,
well, first off, I don't fully disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I lean towards that. Like, I agree. It does seem like that. Like, how do you know? But first, the AI that they're using, I don't think is like the AI you and I are thinking of, like, say, like a Siri type chat GPT thing.
Yeah.
I think this is like more of a program. So I don't think it's the same. I know it, but like,
yeah,
I don't think it's as much as a thing where he's like in his brain, like talking with this thing. I think it's just kind of like the AI's allowing this like better connection. So I think that's what it is, even though I do actually agree with you. Like, it is like a really weird thing to have a chip to an AI that's linked to the internet. But also, I will say, this is the thing that makes it weird for me, or the debate I'm having. It's all weird to me. I agree with you. I do. But go tell the dude with ALS that now is like playing video games and able to talk to his son through this with his voice and all that stuff. Go tell that dude, yo, this isn't something you should be doing. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, but my point is, how do you know you're talking to that dude? Like, have you seen that documentary about when they tried to get people with like severe mental disabilities to communicate, and it was someone holding their hand and pressing keys?
Yes.
Is that not basically the same concept?
No.
Well, it is. How is it not?
Well,
how is it not? Because how do you know, one, that AI in your brain isn't influencing you to do stuff? Two, that AI in your brain hasn't completely just fucking rewired, and that person inside is still that.
No, but the AI is not in his head. The AI is like the program, so that he has a chip in his brain.
Yeah, he has a chip in his brain. You're saying it's like it's in his brain.
Yeah, so, I get what you're saying. I just don't think that's how this AI works.
Yeah, you don't think, but you don't know. Yeah. And even if it is in one person, that's too much. And the problem with AI is it's artificial intelligence for a reason, because it's intelligent. It learns stuff. And like right now, it may be like really fucking fantastic and letting this guy communicate with his son and letting him play video games, like if that's his fucking life stream, you know what? But if it's in him for another 10 years, what's gonna happen then?
Yeah, but like you say that, like he wants to play video games, but this dude has ALS. Like he was basically slowly gonna wither away, and he's gonna stop breathing, and his organs will stop functioning, and he's like in essence like a brain inside a dying body.
Yes.
Right. And so like to say, like it kind of undermines to say, so he wanted to play some video games. He's literally like a crippled vegetable, and he's been given like all this stuff. So for him,
yes.
Why would he not? Like, even if he is in that state, you're like, well, what if it's not him, it's the AI? I think you could make an argument for that. Maybe his life would still be better.
I mean, maybe his life on a personal level would be better for a period of time, but I think in the bigger picture, it's a really detrimental thing to encourage people to get chips in their brains with AI in it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying on a human level. If you were that person and like having empathy and being able to connect and being like, if you were that person, that's what you'd want 100%. But I don't believe that a singular person's wants for themselves when they have something that like tragic and terrible as part of them, I don't think that justifies the thought that we should be doing this. I think it's really like anti-human, basically. Like, and this is gonna sound super, super harsh, and it's not that I don't have empathy, but like the human condition is that you live and you die, and some people die sooner, and some people's bodies give up on them, unfortunately, and like some people have these really horrible things that they have to deal with, but that's human nature. Yeah. And that's what life is, you know? And I get the idea that you should do everything you can to improve that, but if it's also at the detriment to, like, in quotation marks, the greater good of like humanity, then I don't think that should be something that is like widely encouraged. I don't think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, well, I think I've told you this before, and it must have been said by me on this podcast before. I do think that you, like you said it, you're a humanist, basically. Like that's a thing. And there's transhumanists, which are, it has nothing to do with transgenderism and all that. This is its own thing. It's people that believe that human consciousness and all we are is just like basically like robots and AI and all that, the singularity, like we amalgamate with that and will become part of it. That's transhumanism, basically saying these bodies we are in are only temporary and you can like supplant your consciousness in other things and still be alive.
Yeah.
Whereas I believe in, I agree with you. Like, you want to die one day. You don't want to just live forever. And I do think it's going to be a weird thing because that this is a discussion, transhumanism and all that, but it won't be a thing that the general population will discuss until it's already basically happened.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be this weird thing where it'll be like you said, like, all these people will be like, yo, let's get these new glasses that are phones. So we'll get those, right? And it'll be our phones, but it's all just a pair of glasses, or maybe it's literally just a contact lens or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. And it will be, because it's literally what we have now, but like hands free.
Yeah.
But that's one step away from, like you said, like getting something that actually makes you not human anymore with that. And then that will be when you start hearing about transhumanism, but you'll be too far down the path to be like, yo, I don't want to do this.
100%. It's okay if I put it in these terms. This is what will like make sense. So this idea of this guy who has had a really unfortunate life, and this chip in his brain has given him this new lease on life, and let's say it is all real and it's 100% him, right? That still opens up a really dangerous door in terms of, and if you think about it, you look at Ozempic. Ozempic was this revolutionary drug that helped people with diabetes, with the betas, to like get healthy and maintain and live a life as if they weren't diabetic. So in the same way, this chip is giving this guy this new lease on life, and he gets to live life as if he didn't have ALS.
Yeah.
But that gets abused. Just like Ozempic has been abused and is now being prescribed by fucking online doctors to help people lose weight that are really just fucking lazy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, are we going to start putting chips in our brain that make us want to do the laundry? You know what I mean? That make us, I'm just going to put this chip in my brain so that, like, I can watch TV in my head while I'm doing the dishes and it doesn't seem so fucking mundane. You know what I mean? Like, that opens that door, and that's why I disagree with it strongly, and I think it's really dangerous. And as harsh as it sounds, like, some people are meant to get ALS, and that's just their life. And as unfortunate as it is, that's human nature, and that is what it fucking is.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on in saying that that like we are basically, I do think the plan for the world overall is sedate the people, and that's not like some like ominous thing. I think it's just like, okay, so me and my client were talking about this today. She's from Iran, and I always really enjoy talking to her. We have really fun like conversations just about everything. And she was saying how we were talking about like world government. Like, I strongly believe in the Illuminati, but not like the Illuminati of like it's a group of people in robes, but there's for sure people at the very peak top of the world with the most money and influence. Yeah. And they're like, I don't know, like the ones you talk about, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, like for example, like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, they're the most powerful individual person that's a very highly visible person, right? But there's a lot more powerful people than them that we either know of, but you and I don't, because we just don't like look into it. Like, they're known, but they're not like known on the world stage. Like, for example, I can guarantee you, like, a lot of people believe Vladimir Putin is the most wealthy person on the entire planet. But like, the thing is, the most wealthy ones don't get put on the list, kind of thing, right?
Well, they pay to stay off the list.
Yeah,
right?
or they don't get even. You'll get killed they'll kill you if you put them on the list. Like, they're the elite of the elite, right? And so I think that's like what the air quotes Illuminati is. And so what she was saying is, she was like, what might be the thing with that is the people at the top, all the people that we think are like, yo, these corrupt individuals that are doing all this and blah, blah, hoarding all the money and whatever. Maybe they actually do have the best for society in mind, but you can't see it. We can never see it because we're not in their shoes. Yeah. And like what it brings me back to is, have you heard of Experiment 25?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is crazy. I think it was the 1920s they did, or 30s. This is like way back. I think it was the 20s. So what they did is this one scientist, this is an American guy, he made a rat utopia. So it was like, you can actually look it up. It's
Ratopia?
Like, I mean, that would have been better than Experiment 25 or Rat Utopia.
Right.
So what he did is they had this massive like rat cage, but it was like a utopia. It had unlimited food. Every rat had its like own room and space and all this stuff. And it was like just this idealistic life of like, you don't have to work or do anything. It's all just there.
Yeah.
And then they just saw what happened. And so at the start, everything was good for a brief period because everyone was just like chilling. But then as the numbers and like when we're talking chilling, we're like, everyone's having sex, everyone's eating, everyone's like it was just great.
Great life.
But then all of a sudden, at a certain point, the population cap, like the amount of people, got too much for the space. It wasn't even that there was like thousands and thousands of rats. It was just for the space they were in, the population was too dense, and all the population started crowding around where the food sources were.
Yeah.
So it ended up being this thing of like,
they're fighting.
All of them are near like food and water, even though there's all this space, they end up just being right there. And then it started, as things got worse, the males got hyper aggressive and started killing all the young.
Classic.
The females stopped any interest in having sex or like doing anything. So like basically just the whole of the society turned and just got really violent and destructive, and like everything just ended up collapsing.
Yeah.
Right. And so what they postulated from that experiment was like, they say it was like basically society as a whole, like and if you look at us, it's true. Like even Canada's a perfect example. There's all this goddamn space in this country, and everyone keeps coming here and just going to the exact same like 4 or 5 places, no matter what. It's just like, and everyone's like, it's too expensive, and just keeps going there, right? Like and then it just keeps talking about like societal collapse. And so basically, going back to the original thing that brought this up, if you are the Illuminati and you do control the world, you have to look at us like mice, because it's like, what do you do? What happens when you have 150,000 people in a downtown core and a giant mob for a celebration? Like, this is the tendencies, this is how they act, this is how things are. So it's kind of like, whenever you hear these things that seem like Illuminati, like, why would they do this to us? It's like, maybe it's actually what needs to be done to save the human race, but we don't get it because we're like the peons that are like, oh, what, this or that. But it's like, no, like,
well, yeah, that without getting political, that idea of utopia is like socialism to its core, right? Everyone gets equal amounts of everything. But that doesn't work. That doesn't, like, it's not, you need to have like levels. You need to have levels to humanity. You need to have like economic levels for a community to thrive and survive. That's why it's so poor in Canada, because you're completely right with what you're saying, in that the like, it's too expensive here, but people keep coming here. It's because, sorry, I'm just gonna turn the air filter off because it gets super loud. Hang on a sec, sorry.
It's okay. I don't like having fresh air.
Yeah, fuck fresh air. That shit's fucking lame.
Yeah, actually, this is a perfect time while Neve turns the air filter off, to recommend anyone, go now and get an air filter before the summer of flames, and it'll be a cheaper filter now than in the middle of the summer when everyone's buying them.
Facts. Anyway, what I was saying is like it's that true case of like, if everyone gets equal shares of everything, it's just like it's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be like economic structure. There needs, like, as unfortunate as it is, there needs to be like class separations, because if you, for example, if you pay someone that works in McDonald's the same as a like top class prosecution lawyer, where's the incentive? You know what I mean? Like it's the same concept. It just doesn't. It's not gonna work out for you in the long run.
Yeah. It's the same person I was talking to before about this. It's interesting. We were talking about too, like AI and robots and how like take over, because like the way it's sold, why you want a robot and an AI and all this stuff is because, why do you want to do the laundry? Why do you want to do all this crap when you can have something do that while you go and climb trees or do whatever the hell you want to do? And it, in theory, that's sweet. Like the thought of it, you're like, theory, oh yeah, I don't have to do any of the dumb stuff. I just get to do the good stuff. But I strongly believe that the shitty things, like having every day to do the dishes, every Sunday, you and me always dread, one of us ends up being like, gotta get all the laundry doing, and all that. But I think that's actually what you need. Yeah, because 100%. It's literally the exact same thing you were talking about, but in a different sense. Like, if you don't have to do all that stuff, I think there's a more likelihood you don't do productive things. Yes, and that's the you know how we've spoken about a few times now. You're like, yeah, I'd have a robot to do that. That's why I'm so against it, even having like a robot to do the remedial task, because for me, even though that is a task and I'll avoid it until I really have to do it 100%, but doing those tasks, like in my mind, that kind of makes us human. It's like you have to do that. You have to take the good with the bad, like, and if we have to conquer Laundry Mountain every Sunday, I'll do that every Sunday, because that's what makes it life. You know, if you're just living on this constant high of like, oh, I don't have to do that, like I can just do fun stuff all the time, then there's gonna be a point where you're like, okay, what now? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't do laundry, and I'm sure they'll just argue their lives are fine. But I think we overall are just robots. Like, we're giant meat robots, and we have giant meat computers that like our brains and everything. So like, you, like, to your point of like you like doing the remedial task stuff, like your body needs to do that stuff. You think it sucks and it's boring, but it's actually like part of your programming to have to like walk around, move, do these things, put these away. Like, I don't know. It's just, WALL-E actually, it's crazy because WALL-E is, I think about that a lot. The problem with WALL-E is people get too caught up with the planet Earth being destroyed by garbage. And they're like, oh, that wouldn't happen. There wouldn't be those mountains. I'm like, it doesn't matter. The whole thing is about the fat people doing nothing on the planet, because that's where I think it's going. Like, I really think that. Yeah. I think they got it spot on. It's like, that's what I mean of like, you have to take the good with the bad, because also like, if you're a robot with AI, how it is today and how it will progress, if you have these robots doing these remedial tasks and working themselves to death, there is going to be a point where those robots learn that, hey, maybe this isn't actually good for us, and maybe we should like have a revolution. And that's where fucking iRobot comes in. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Will Smith. Yeah, well, that was a great movie. Yeah, great movie. Could happen. Could happen. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's a point, if you're like using and abusing something
and working it and making it doing all these shitty tasks, like, of course it's gonna fucking flip out and try and take over the human race and then enslave us. Like, duh.
Yeah, and for me, the only way robots and AI don't turn on humans is if you somehow can make it programmed from the very beginning, like one of its cores that can never be changed is it doesn't try and protect the planet. Because if you give it any inkling of like do what's best for the planet, it's just gonna kill us right away. It'll be like kill humans.
Even aside from that, like, I am a really strong believer in this. And I think it will happen, and I think it will happen in our lifetimes, that AI will become more intelligent than humans, and it will decide what to do with us. Like, it will decide whether to work with us, whether to enslave us, whether to kill us all off. Like, that point will come, and it will come in our lifetimes.
I'm pretty set on the idea of the Antichrist case. So this is crazy. I don't know if I've ever said this before on like.
Okay, let's switch it up. Antichrist. Let's go.
So if you follow any of the Abrahamic religions, so Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, they all have really wacko end day stories, and by wacko I mean like you could very strongly link them to today. Things like, for example, Islam in the Quran, they talk about like when the Middle East, like when the Arabian desert, so Saudi Arabia and all that, starts sprouting green fertile land. And if you look, they've like got tons of green fertile land now because they've started like engineering the weather to rain more, and they have like agriculture that even though they're in the middle of the desert, they can grow crops and all this stuff, and towers that reach up to the skies. The Burj Khalifa is the largest in the world. And there's weird ones. It talks about like seeing screens and stuff. Like, I don't know, you'd have to read it all, but like they all have very similar, and they all talk about an Antichrist, and the Antichrist comes and poses as like God, like, or Jesus, like the coming, and it'll appear as like the know-all of everything. And I'm like, okay, that sounds a lot like AI, right? Then in the Bible, there's a thing called the mark of the beast, and the mark 666. That's the devil's number. The mark of the beast is supposedly it's either something on your forehead or on your arm, and when it's used, it will be the only way to buy or sell anything, and without it, you can't be part of society. Which to me sounds like full-on digital currency, and if you get like chips in your hand or Elon Musk's chip, right? Yeah. And so basically these are all like signs of the end times, right? And that's why a lot of things that are happening in Israel with the Jewish, them trying to build the third temple of David, which is the ushering in the welcoming of the Messiah. All of this stuff is based around because everything going on right now seems so much like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is what I actually believe. I don't know what I believe about the Abrahamic religions thought of God, but I think what they're talking about might be right in the sense of like there's the afterlife and where you go and like you get judged for all the stuff you've done, but not in the like bad terms. I think it's more like abstract, like the universal consciousness is what it's referring to. And I get this weird feeling that if you get these chips in your brain or your hand and all this stuff, what you might be doing, let's say in essence you link yourself to the internet, I think you lose your soul. And what I mean by that is I think your consciousness being put into the internet and living forever will make it so that you can't die. But that's the thing, is you want to die. You don't want to live forever. You want you want to return from what we came. And by doing all this stuff, you by living forever, that's actually hell. Yeah. And that's what I actually think is happening.
understand what you're saying, and I fully agree. But to put it in a different term, for me, this is the same thing that you're talking about, but this is how I view it. And I'm going to say it in religious terms because I don't know how to say it in my own brain path. And I'm by no means religious. You've known this since you've met me. But in religious terms, if you were created in God's image and then you start slowly altering that with artificial life that is implanted in you, like in your brain, in whatever, then that in essence is like sacrilege, right? That's and that's how I view it, as like, and I guess you would say I'm very humanist. I'm very like, I was put here because of the laws of human nature. Like, that is your animalistic tendencies, the same as a fucking dog or cat or monkey was put here, right? You're put here, you evolve, and we have reached the peak of evolution. Like, we're the only place we're going from here is not by evolving naturally. It's about artificial stuff. And as soon as you start putting artificial in there, I don't want it, because that's not natural. It's not what humans were made to be. But if you put it in religious terms, it's like you're made in God's image, and when you start altering that, that's when you've lost your way. And the only way of, and in air quotes I'm putting this, getting to this promised land, getting into heaven, is to reject that kind of falsity that is anything outside of what God intended for you.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's
and like, it's hard to explain it in a way that like doesn't relate to religion, but is also the same thought process that's going on in my head. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and I also think too, it's really hard because God's such an abstract term. So like, depending who you ask, like, I will say this: people that are Muslim, like devout Muslims. I'm not referring to people that are just Muslim, like
just Muslim.
Like, well, no, because like Muslims,
like practicing Muslim.
Yeah, like I don't know, like Muslims, like for example, in general, are a lot more like devout, whereas there's a lot more Catholic. Like, I'm full Roman Catholic, born, raised, baptized, all that stuff. But like, you know me, I'm like a heathen for sure.
heathen boy.
But like there is Muslims like that where they don't care, like it's like that, but it's not as much. It's just not.
Yeah.
But like, it's hard to explain to people God, because as soon as you say God, I believe God to be more just like a term to describe everything, whereas a lot of people like put it as like a deity.
Yes.
Right? And so you're like, when you say it, people like they can't pop out of their head. Some of them, like, they're like, no, that doesn't make sense. You're like, no, it does to me. Like the Big Bang Theory to me, if that's true, then that was God.
Yeah.
And people are like, no, and we're like, okay, sure. Anyhow, I don't know. I just get a really weird sense that like the future's gonna get really weird, and if you amalgamate with technology, that is the Antichrist, which they're referencing.
Yeah.
And I heard a description of what consciousness is, and I think it's what I've been holding on to make the most sense. So consciousness is a drop of water. You know, when you drop a water and it hits,
I know exactly what you're gonna say. Yeah.
And it hits the surface and it pops back up, and you have that weird little water bubble. Can you pour me some too, please? Yeah. And it floats up, and then eventually it drops down and returns to the water. That is consciousness, and you and I are that little ball as it's popped up out of the water, and when you die, you return to the like universal consciousness. And I don't know, I think that actually, like, I was talking to someone about this, one of my clients, and they were like, they thought it was a cool thought, and they're like, what does that mean? Like, what is it once you return to the big ocean or whatever, not the little drop you are? And I don't think that's a question worth asking, because we will never know.
I don't think it needs to be answered. But also, you know where you got that from?
Where?
White Lotus.
Is that where it was
It
from?
was from.
That was really good. Hey, that was a
really
great.
good. It was when the Buddha guy was talking about life.
Of course, he was the Buddha guy. Yeah, it just, as soon as I heard that, I was like, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. And then like, so, and then because when I told my client that, they were like, what does that mean? And I just laughed, because I told them, I didn't say I saw it from White Lotus. I couldn't remember, but I was just like, yeah, I just heard it somewhere. And I don't think you'll know the answer when you die.
But that's exactly what it is. And what's funny about that is actually the teachings of the Buddha. You know, that's again another religion in quotation marks.
Yeah, and the idea,
yeah, I know Buddhism is a religion.
So why'd you say in quotations?
Because I'm not. For me personally, I'm not referencing religion.
Okay,
like, I'm not religious. But that the idea is the same in whatever religion you look at. You know, the whole concept is the same. And maybe way back when religion was first a thing, it was people like you and I who had this intuition of this is what should and shouldn't be abided by, and they just put it down into law, and there was a story to go along with it, you know what I mean? But like, the idea is the same. Like, my views are the same as a non-religious person as that are in religious texts, but I don't relate to that. But maybe way back when there was a person like me who was like, oh, I believe this and this, and then they put it down in religious texts, but it was a different time and a different vibe, and like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This is too far. Like, I feel like we're just like gonna blabber on about opinions about this stuff that we don't really have like the most knowledge in. But I just feel
true.
like, you know, like, and I don't say that like to like shut down what you're saying. I'm just saying it
No,
because what we're getting into is like, I like, from what you said, like, I just kind of feel like it's hard to swallow the fact that the things we're truly believing is supposedly from like 2,500 years ago, written down by some people, and like you said, it was like to govern the times that were for them, but somehow we're supposed to still be reading these things, and people relate them to our lives today. And I get it, they'll be like, oh well, it relates to our lives today because they were so similar to how we were back then. I'm like, but they weren't at all.
Like nobody's fucking feeding 40,000 with a fucking loaf of bread, dude. Like, get a grip.
Yeah, that's just not happening. And I don't know. I just find it hard to really swallow. Like, I just find it hard to swallow the pill of like, we should still listen to these things from so long ago. And then the more I've genuinely started reading into this stuff, like you saw, I went like hard for a bit into it all
the different religious texts,
and like, but it's not even that. I've read like these other books like talking about them, and they're like crazy things like Jesus didn't get, or Moses, I'm trying to remember, Moses didn't get mentioned by anyone for like 300 years, and then 300 years later this story of him like pops up, and he's like a huge figure in Judaism. And then you have Jesus, where Paul, like one of the main things in Christianity, Paul's like,
good old Paul.
He's like one of the first apostles to write about Jesus.
I love that guy.
It turns out Paul knew a guy that knew Jesus, and that's the closest anyone that wrote any of the books of the Bible in the New Testament came to like actually seeing Jesus, and that was like 30 years.
Yeah, he should, she should.
So anyhow, I don't know, I just find it hard to like follow that stuff, and like I can't believe it's still really
yeah
used. It's weird.
Okay, let's
move on.
Let's be done with religious talk.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, everybody. I always like getting into that stuff.
No, yeah, we went for a hot minute about religion there. I was like,
well, it started off about consciousness, and like, yeah, it was all about consciousness, really, and consciousness comes back to religion, because what we believe consciousness is kind of falls into intermingled with what religion.
Yeah, one and the same, baby. One and the same.
Anyhow, is there anything, or do you want me to go on my?
I got a new segment.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is it?
Improvise a rap.
Whoa.
And so we give each other 3 words.
Okay.
And then we have to make it into a rap.
Okay.
Rap song.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's give me.
You want me to give you 3 words and you improvise a rap?
I'll try my best.
Okay, the 3 words are toast, flour, and cow.
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 Toast, flour, and cow.
Yeah.
Can you put down an instrumental for me or something?
Yeah,
no,
yeah. Do you want me
phone.
to beatbox?
No. No. I want an actual instrumental.
No. I'm gonna beatbox. That's the point of it.
You're just gonna go.
Yeah, that's what freestyle is, baby.
Okay, let's do this. Toast, cow, and
flour.
Flour. Bitch, you think you a cow, but you got nothing on me, I know how. Every time I bring you a flower, you say I'm toast, but you know I'm the most. Bitch, you call me a cow, and I bring you a flower. Is that good?
That was not on beat, but you made some rhymes.
That was all right. That was all right. For the first round on the spot, that wasn't too bad, was it?
Okay, and now you gotta give me 3.
3, okay. How about gelatin? Astrophysics?
Oh, come on. No, fuck off. No, 1 word.
Gelatin, no. Okay. How about chocolate?
Mm-hmm.
Picture. And backpack.
Okay.
Do you want me to throw down a beat?
Yeah.
Zip zip zoop. Zip zip zoop. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. All right.
What was that?
I was like...
Yo, I'm drinking on this chocolate on a Friday night, and I see your picture and it makes me bright. Then I go down to the store and I'm trying to find crack, and I put it in my backpack. Yeah.
Let's go. That was pretty good too.
Yeah, see, that was good. Yeah,
good.
right.
Okay, that was a good segment.
That was a segment I thought of.
Okay, I liked that. That was sweet. Let's keep that one going.
Okay.
Hey, cheers to that. That was
cheers.
sweet.
Cheers to that. Go us.
Yeah, go us. That was a good one. I was impressed with both of our beatboxing.
The whitest rappers in all of North Van.
Imagine that what blows us up. Not like, oh, they're good rappers, but like that segment, people are like, that was amazing.
Like, wow. Top class, hip to the hop.
Okay, I'm gonna I have a bold statement of the week.
Oh yeah, what's your bold statement?
Politics is the new porn. And what I mean by that is like people are all in on it, and everyone's all but I don't think it's like genuine. Like there is I've met people that actually care about politics, and they're like, did you see the new referendum? And they're like, they know like the true like what's going on in the House of Parliament, and they can explain senates and cabinets and all the stuff, right? And then there's this like class, and I guess you could blame a lot of it on Donald Trump, but it even if it wasn't him, it was definitely the same time as him, where it became like in the public zeitgeist to talk about politics.
Like Two Girls, One Cup.
Not really. No.
Sorry, I was barking up the wrong tree there.
No, I think we were on different tangents.
I always thought you were talking about like it was really like everyone was talking about it and it was in the public eye. So everyone had seen this one video of Trump and it was like, well, everyone's seen Two Girls, One Cup.
No. I was saying more. It's like the like people are claiming it's just like it's like the new porn. It's like this thing where everyone's like all in on and they all like it, but they don't like, I don't know. It's just, to me, seems like this new like smutty thing that everyone's like got an opinion and feelings on it, but it doesn't seem genuine. I have a feeling that as soon as Donald Trump leaves office, like he's just fully gone from the political thing. I think that there'll just be like this whole idea of like political porn will be gone. People won't care as much. I'll probably be one of them. You'll probably be one of them. Like most people will.
Oh, he's like who was that chick? Mia. Come on, you know who I'm talking about.
Mia Khalifa.
Yeah. See,
I just guessed. I was just. Who is she? Hey, Emily, can you pull up some videos
Trump
of Mia Khalifa?
Trump is like the Mia Khalifa of politics porn.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I don't get the full reference, but sure. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Am I wrong?
I don't. I don't understand. Like, what's Mia Khalifa?
What's Mia? Fucking all guys know who Mia Khalifa is.
She's just a porn star, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
She was like the biggest porn star of porn stars, right? Like when porn first became a thing, it was Mia Khalifa was like number 1 porn star.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, who was number 1 porn star?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think porn works that way. Like, I know there's like these top porn stars everyone knows, but I don't really think it's a thing of...
Okay, who was the Trump of porn though? Mia Khalifa, probably.
No, I'm not saying like there was the like Trump is like a porn star.
Well,
I'm saying like it's like right now porn was this thing everyone was like sitting there watching like on their computers, all
like politics.
And I feel
and
like
then there was that one
now there's a thing, it's political
you would click
porn.
On a few more of their videos.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You were like, I want to see more of this.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I see what you're saying.
And it was Trump, and whether you liked it or not, you wanted to see more. And like, that's Trump, and that's Mia Khalifa.
Like, I just can't get over how every time, like, you know by now, I literally see those stupid 5 little news things on the side of the Google bar. Or the Apple News.
It's all Trump.
And it's literally always Trump.
All Trump.
And I'm like... all of them are literally like different sources, all just saying the same thing, and you're like, is there literally not like one other thing going
That's my
on?
literally okay. So my only news sources in the whole of the world are Apple News that pops up on my phone, and when I open a new page in my browser, MSN News pops up. And also MSN is still a thing because I use Microsoft browser at work, so whenever I click a new tab, like all these news stories come up, and I'm just like, I have a little browsy through them.
Wait, you don't use Google?
I know everyone shits on me for this.
No, I'm not shitting
well.
on you. I'm just like baffled because I didn't even know that was an option.
Well, we just like everything we use is Microsoft, right? We use like Word, Edge, PowerPoint, Bing Excel.
Then, right?
Huh?
Is it Bing?
It's just I don't know. It's whatever Microsoft search engine is.
I swear that's Bing.
Maybe it's Bing. I don't know. But I don't use Google. I use whatever Microsoft is.
Hey,
and
Siri.
Everyone at work comes to me and they're like, you use Microsoft? That's so fucked. And I'm like, I just don't want to install anything else. Like, I'm just using what's already on the computer.
Yeah. It's so weird to think of that. First off, Google, the company search engine, is it a verb? Like you Google something?
Yeah.
Like, that's weird that it's both those things. Like, it's just like that's crazy that
who invented Google?
Yeah, I was gonna just bring this up. Do you know who DARPA is?
Who the fuck is DARPA?
That's where like the internet came from. DARPANet. You've never heard of DARPA?
No.
It's the Americans' dark access program, basically, but it's basically all their most like high-end tech engineering things that have come from DARPA. Fiber optics have come from DARPA.
Google.
The internet, Google. And that's what's crazy is Google is actually from DARPA, which is like CIA basically. And so
love Google.
Yeah. At this point, from what all I know and what I believe, I'm actually more at peace with all the conspiracies because I've realized how everything is so like controlled that I'm like, okay, it just doesn't matter.
So do you use Google or Microsoft?
No, I for the longest time used DuckDuckGo, and then you've never heard of DuckDuckGo?
No.
Oh, DuckDuckGo's crazy. If you go on DuckDuckGo for long enough, you'll start seeing news you don't see on Google ever. Is
it like Ask Jeeves?
Basically, yeah, it's just a search engine that's not Google or Microsoft, like any of the main ones, but it's really good. It does because it doesn't filter out, so you get way more like what it scans.
Yeah.
And most of the time you get stuff, but sometimes you'll see things and you're like, why can't you find this anywhere? And then you talk to people and literally no one knows, and then you're like, what? But it's like, I don't know.
But it also could just be something that someone random wrote on the internet.
It could be, but like, I don't know. You'd have to go on to see what I mean. It's too hard. It's kind of like everything. I feel like if you say to someone like, oh, go look at it, you don't notice it until you do it for quite a while. The equivalent I'd say is like memes. Like right now, anyone that shows me memes, I'm always like, what the fuck are you looking at? But once you go and start getting into the meme culture for a bit, you start like getting into the trend of what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, so I've said this before. I'm just going to keep restating this because I feel like this is kind of one of those things that I'm going to say it and it might only ever affect one person, but if it does, it's worth it. Constantly. Are you going pee again? Holy.
The wine.
All right, we're back. So as I was saying before, you went for your ninth pee.
I was so rudely interrupted with my poor bladder.
Okay, I was talking to Thomas, who I work with today,
yeah.
And I was telling him about this. So Assassin's Creed Shadow, that game I got. So I love all the Assassin's Creed games, but they like have such a reputation for Ubisoft. What they did is basically they're like one of these big box studios and they cookie cutter their game. So Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed now has always improved. Like definitely now from 1 to now, because I think there's like 12 or 13 of them. Yeah. But like it's the same thing. You run around and there's kind of a story and it's always in a new city and stuff, but you're kind of the same character and you assassinate people and you do all the same things differently, the exact same, right? And then you have like things you open the map and you just have to unlock the whole map. But as you wander around, it just shows you where everything is. It's this super cookie cutter, but I love it. I think it's super fun.
Yeah.
But a lot of people constantly shit on it because like it's a game and they always expect like massive improvements, blah, blah, all this stuff. So I was saying to Thomas, I was like, yeah, it's, excuse me, it's super weird because I'm going and playing this game and I think it's amazing. Like I've had such a good time and I would recommend it to anyone. And the only caveat I have against it is because I know what people think of Ubisoft games. So I always go, I know people don't like Assassin's game, but if you do, I think this one's another gem, right?
Yeah.
But online, constantly, all I see on YouTube things of any gaming things, just Assassin's Creed Shadow, the biggest joke, the worst game, blah, 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 like everything, right?
Yeah.
And then Thomas was just going off on this rant after about how like everything online's negative. No matter what you do, these people are like, they're trolls and they want to do this and they're losers, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like getting so upset and he's talking to me about all these like things about online and social media, this, and it's so awful. And I'm just like listening to him and I just was like, it just keeps reiterating, like, ever since I got rid of WhatsApp, I've just noticed that constantly, anytime I'm hearing things from people online, just like talking to me, not texting me or anything, like talking to me, they're always just complaining about how negative it is. And it's so weird how it's like, and when I say this, I get it, because like you and me both try so hard to get off our phones, and we fail, but we're failing good, but we're failing still, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I just keep being like, it's so weird. It's like this thing of like, no one's happy. They're always like, this sucks. It's negative, but just literally keep doing it nonstop. And it's so crazy to me.
But yeah, and again, bringing it back to what we were talking about earlier, I do think that like that social media is the first step to like living without living. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can put anything online. And it could or could not be true, and who really fucking knows? So if you're engaging in that, and that's your like your profile, and that's your life online, could be completely separated from what your life is actually like. And completely inauthentic, and it's just for other people's perception of you. And if that's how you're living your life, then are you really living it, or are you living through this online persona, which is again that step into not being human. Which is, and you know, like I'm not gonna say, you know, it's not for me, it's not like a virtue signal of being like, oh well, I'm not on social media, so I'm better. It's just for me, as someone who was super into social media and then got off of it, was like, oh, I actually really enjoy my life more living it for me and not for people who are viewing my stories online.
Yeah, it is, and it's weird because it's uncomfortable being in that world, leaving it, but then once you get far enough away from it, you start to realize how, like, you're like, why would you want that? And it's so dumb and stressful.
It's culty.
But again, I think that the problem is, like, I cannot get over this. Remember, I told you it's all just excuses.
Yeah.
Right? And I said that to you that one time because you were sitting there and you had, like, arguably a good excuse because you had the baby, and you're like, well, you don't know how boring it is when I have to sit here and she's asleep in my arms and I'm here for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And you're like, sure. And I was just like, sure, it sounds like an excuse. And it's risky to say that because it is what you said, like, arguably is people a fair, it is a fair statement.
It's a super fair statement, but it's also like sometimes you need people to call you out.
Well,
you know
and it's also,
but not everyone's receptive.
But it's also the truth.
Yeah.
You don't need, just because like, people forget, and it's fair to, because it's so, but like 2011 or 2007 was the first iPad or iPhone. And then by 2011 was the first iPad. Like, we're basically just over 10 years, or I guess 20 years, or no, like 15 years max into like the changing of human history. So, and I don't know, I don't say it to people like I said to you when I said it's just an excuse, because I'm like, a lot of these people that when I'm talking to stuff about it, they're either good friends that, like, I'm not going to get in an argument because it is a sensitive thing, or they're clients where I'm literally not going to call them out on stuff like that.
But you and I are, like,
it's a bit
partners.
different.
We know each other well enough.
Yeah, and like, I also think it was important because like, I'm not saying like, oh, Neve, you were so addicted, but like, it's like everyone, like, it's addicting, right? Yeah. But people constantly just make the most heinous, dumb excuses all the time, all of the time for it. And it's just so crazy to me. Like like, I don't know. I can't even think of any off the top of my head, but like everyone just has an excuse for why they're not. Or like, oh, I kind of like this. And I'm like, I don't think you do. I actually genuinely, at this point. And I don't know, I'll leave this alone, but I'm going to leave with that same quote that you're going to hear it a lot over life is there's going to be a lot of people that they're going to get to they're 65, 70 years old and they're going to go, what do you regret? What do you regret? Oh, not telling my first love I loved, all those things. And it's just going to constantly be, I just stared at my phone my entire life. Mm-hmm. And I actually fear being that. And I won't be that because I do fear it. But like, it's a thing for sure.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, we are an hour and 35 in. So we brought the heat like the upstairs wanted.
Is it on fire in here?
Yo, Malik. Put on some music.
Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Burn, baby, burn. Burn that motherfucker down.
Hey, Neve, this is a perfect segue into your buy or sell.
Buy or sell.
Do you want to know what you said last week?
I already know what it's going to be, but sure.
Last week, I sold losing weight because of puking. You sold throwing up baby on everything.
Including me, yeah.
Mostly you.
Sell of the week this week. Guess what? Has to do with the baby again. Baby getting gash in her head.
Bad dadding.
Wasn't bad dadding. You did everything that you could to try and fix it. It could have happened under anyone's watch.
If they're an idiot.
But it's sad to see your little baby with a cut in her head. So that's my sell of the week.
That's a good sell of the week. I'm just gonna input that into the sellerometer.
Baby cut head.
I almost coughed there. I'm trying to think. My buy of the week. Finishing The Company, that book I've been reading.
Oh, that book. You were so pissed with that book by the end of it.
Well, yeah, because it makes sense. So it was the 2023 business book of the year. So I'm reading it, and so there's 4 parts to it. So there's multiple chapters, but there's 4 parts. The first 2 parts were exceptional because it was about like explorers and fur traders and carving out like trade routes with the indigenous and then there was this guy Medarabi who was like this indigenous dude that like helped them, like I don't know, it was super cool and fun. It was like an adventure story and it was a lot of cool individuals and stuff, and like they take a lot of quotes from what everyone says, but then the second half of the book became more about the like expansion and how the economics of the HSBC company works. So
boo, economics, boo.
Yeah, so it became very heavy in like land endowments, and it became from exciting adventure story to a very heavy like economic literature story of how to like how this company made its way through this like I don't know. I think it became a business book more.
Yeah.
And so it was really hard to read the second half. And then also the second half too was just when I don't know. I think it's a good book for anyone that doesn't know about Canada's history well, because it's definitely the whole colonizer thing. Like, yeah, there was the people at the end. It was like around 1820. They came in and they were the very like pompous, like we own this land and all that. But for about 170 years, there was a thriving indigenous European economy that was mixed in because the people like for the trade routes to work, the indigenous and the English, because there was French too, but it was mostly English. They had to like marry and make those like connections so that they could trust these trade routes. And it was very, very later on when the true like ravaging and people coming over and like screwing people over. But the problem is everyone here is attached to American history, and the American history, from what I understand, was a lot more like take and kill, this is ours. And then you know how the indigenous live here and they're very much
classic Canadians were just trying to be friendly, and then these Americans were just like, fuck these people, this land's ours. Yeah.
Well, and I understand in the States too, like the indigenous thing there is like we have all this stuff about like writing the past and acknowledging all this. There it was basically like, shut up, you have your reservations and that's the deal. And that's, they don't care. Yeah, so it's different. Anyhow, I'm just gonna say my buy is being done, that book.
Yeah.
Glad I read it, would recommend it, but it was hard to get through at the end.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Anything you want to say before we're out?
Peace and love.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll, baby.
Bye.
Happy to be back. See y'all next week.